Hello and welcome to The Wow, connecting and empowering women through sports, brought to you by our wonderful partners, Fresh Fine Wine. I'm Jade and joining me, as always, are my wonderful co-hosts, Stephanie, GeNienne and Samuels. Hello, ladies.
Hey there.
Coming up in segment 2, we chat with Nicole Quiroga, the president and CEO of the Greater Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Prior to the chamber, Ms. Quiroga was the general manager of Telemundo Washington, D.C. and Telemundo Richmond. She is of Bolivian and Colombian descent and was the first in her family to be born in the United States. And I heard she's a Washington football fan, so I can't wait to chat with her. Be sure to stick around for that. Before we do that, let's quickly chat about last week's game. Washington lost its third consecutive game to the Baltimore Ravens, 31-17, falling to 1-3 on the season. But let's start with some positives. What was the wow of the game?
Oh, gosh, for me, it was when Lamar threw an interception late in the second quarter and Kendall Fuller got it.
I mean, he had two picks this game, especially, my favorites. When RG3 forgot who he was playing for and threw it, straight to Kendall Fuller. So Antonio Gibson went off. That is my wow. I was so excited to see him just do his thing. I mean, he had 128 total yards, 17 touches to go along with a touchdown. He really showed his versatility this game, and he's really showing that he's an ideal modern running back and something for the Washington football fans to be legitimately excited for. We have a bright future ahead with AG.
Yep, agreed. And that really did help, I feel like, at least get us into the game. So, and kind of keep us in the game, sort of. And, it is what it is, but he definitely was a force to be reckoned with.
Okay, let's do the womps. What was the biggest whoa? The womp womps.
The whoa or the womp.
Whoa.
Well, I would say that we gave them the momentum too early in the first quarter. They used a turnover to their advantage, obviously, and converted that into a touchdown. And so I just feel like they had the momentum. They got that first score. And I know that has to play with the psyche overall of our players. So that, for me, was the biggest woe.
Let's move on. Let's give some really quick wow awards. Let's say, who was best dressed? I'll start.
Okay.
I was like, fine, I'll answer my own question. I think I'm gonna just gas pedaling AG, but he was wearing the Mighty Ducks jersey, walking into the stadium with his Nike Grateful Dead, SB Grateful Dead shoes. He just looked so cool. Like, you just definitely look like a cool rookie. So he was fun to watch walk in.
I think GeNienne and I, we have the same, we've talked about this. It's the Rivera Strong shirts. I mean, that was amazing. I think that moment of the coach's corner was just so wonderful and touching for Coach. So Rivera Strong shirts. That's my best dress. A t-shirt.
And let's talk about what was the best moment of the game.
My best moment is still the coach's corner. I'm going to have to just go with some stuff outside the game. But for every cutout, our Washington Charitable Foundation is donating $49 to the donation of Coach Rivera's choice. So that's my best moment.
My best moment was the pass to Terry McLaurin, and I think it was the fourth quarter. It just really showed that the talent is there and this team is young, but there's just a lot to look forward to in the future. Okay, we got to keep going. We're looking ahead. We play the Los Angeles Rams this weekend. What do we need to do?
The Rams are still a quality team, so it's going to be a tough game. They're a good competitor. So we just need to keep improving, I think, in order to do our best. So, that's my keys, is just keep doing what we've been doing and grow.
Absolutely. And as we've said in the past, but the NFC East division is, very lackluster. So we have potential if we can continue to grow and continue to build, and it's not completely out of reach yet. So I'm excited to see.
Number 2. I think we're number 2.
We're right in there.
We're right in there. Killing it.
We got this Washington football team. Come on.
Plenty of season left. Before we wrap up, we want to say a huge congratulations to Ryan Kerrigan and his wife, Jessica. They welcomed the birth of their second daughter. I love seeing the pictures on Instagram, and they also have some really cool baby names. So I'm a fan of unique names. So congrats to Ryan Kerrigan.
Yes.
And As we've mentioned here on the WOW, we like to give you access to the Washington football team. If you have a question for a Washington football player, make sure you're following WOW Washington on social to find out how you can ask a player a question. This week, WOW member Kashana asked tight end Logan Thomas a question. Check it out.
Hi, my name is Kashana and I'm from DC. Hey Logan, my question is, what is the perfect date night with your wife?
A date night without the kids for sure, but a place that we can go down and get a glass of wine and just enjoy each other's company and just have some peace and quiet because we don't really get a whole lot of it.
Stay connected with the Washington football team. Follow at Washington NFL on Instagram and Twitter for team news, updates, and exclusive Washington football team content.
At RTS, game day strategy doesn't stop when the whistle blows. RTS delivers smarter, more responsible waste and recycling services. As an official partner of the Washington football team, RTS is connecting the team and FedEx Field with sustainable solutions to care for the community and the environment. RTS, a better waste company. Find out more at rts.com.
Welcome to the WOW Spotlight. We are thrilled to have joining with us the president and CEO of the Greater Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Nicole Quiroga. In this position, Ms. Quiroga provides strategic direction, vision, and management for the programs and personnel of the Chamber in order to promote and strengthen the economic growth and development of the region's Hispanic business community. Nicole, welcome to the WOW.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So you're a DC native. Is it safe to assume you're a Washington football fan?
I am, always will, and always will be. Always have, always will be. Absolutely.
Great start. Great start.
Absolutely. 100% no matter what.
We hear you.
Do you have any memories? Did you go to Washington football games growing up? Before the interview, we talked a little bit about Coach Ron Rivera. Is there any memories you have or anything that you've been excited to see so far this season?
So, even though my family was born, in Colombia and Bolivia, I was the first one born in DC, and my father was a huge Redskins fan. And so I would watch all the games with my dad, yelling and screaming at the television. It was 1982, I think, when we won a Super Bowl, and Joe Theismann was the quarterback, and John Riggins ran for a touchdown, and my father would not. It was holy hell broke out in our household, and it was amazing, and it was all about the Hogs, and it was they were the offense. I just remember how big they were, and it was just all really impressive, and my family really got behind the team, and that's when I started becoming a huge fan. So yeah, that's definitely a memory. I was so excited to be brought into this interview because there was a lot of passion in my house for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know. And I think that that's how it is for most of us, women kind of growing up, I don't know, daughters of huge football fans. So my dad, the same thing. And when Doug Williams came on board with, the Washington football team, that's when I became a fan. And just having those memories of watching with your dad, that's something that we'll always, have with us. So
I loved it.
Yeah. And I love that it's four of us that are like diehard, like not just football, but like Washington football team fans. So that's super cool.
100%. And we beat Miami. I mean, how Latino can you get, right? But I mean, we were all about it. Like whatever, we crushed it.
I'm trying to teach my boys they've grown up as Washington football fans. They've had a whole different life. Birthday party at the stadium, cheerleader rehearsals, FedEx Field, they thought was mine for the longest time. So they unfortunately had to learn it wasn't, but it was a good moment.
Yeah, it was definitely great memories.
Awesome. Well, we're again glad to have you here, but let's shift the conversation to you. So you're formerly the GM at Telemundo. What are you most proud of as far as your accomplishments there?
I mean, I was afforded a great opportunity. Frankly, I'm most proud of the fact that I am a Latina woman that was able to rise through the ranks. But really, I couldn't have done it without my bosses and my management team who believed in me. And so, but it did position me. I'm most proud of the fact that I was given a voice, and I think that's it is unbelievable the amount of I guess I was afforded a certain power, if you will, but I use that word very humbly, in the sense that I was given the opportunity to change behaviors, to communicate to our community, to educate them, to empower them. And quite frankly, that for me was a blessing, because we could create messages around education, the importance to vote, the ways that certain behaviors can be changed, and that was our responsibility. And so that's my biggest moment of pride.
That's amazing. You mentioned, having people support you and give you that opportunity. So now what are you doing? I mean, as the president and CEO, that's a huge accomplishment. So proud of you. What are you doing to help send the elevator back down to other Latina women?
Well, so I have some friends that tell me, is it the title? Is it the job? What is it? And, we are in a certain society where titles mean something if you use them correctly. Sometimes you make phone calls, and if you don't attach your title, maybe you don't get the phone call back. So I am intentional about how I use my title. I make it a point to talk to younger women. I make it my effort to reach out to women and tell them, follow me or my colleagues. I communicate to, high schools, to colleges. I make sure that I answer emails when I'm asked for guidance. So I make it a very serious part of my life, because we have to, and I don't have to tell you beautiful ladies that, sometimes women work against each other, but I feel that those times are changing. I feel that we are becoming more intentional. I continue to use the word in making sure that we don't bring each other down. And so whenever I'm asked, and I also try to find women who would benefit from, being part of our journey. And so, I do make it a specific part of my job.
You talk about being intentional. What is the importance of let's say sports teams or just people with higher platforms using their platforms for good to bring awareness to especially the Hispanic community? What is the importance of that?
Well, I think changing behavior or talking about inclusion and diversity, so the players, they do have a role to play, and they are paid attention to. They can change behavior and influence, which is why, they're put in certain commercials and advertisements and things of that nature. It's very important to realize that the community is made up of very diverse and talented group of people, and Hispanics are a big part of that. And I don't have to tell you ladies that, in 2050, we're going to make up 1/3 of the American population. And so, that means that, when our players and when sports teams are communicating to communities, that they make sure that they send positive messages and that they influence positive behaviors. Sports, gosh, Latinos have been in sports, I mean, since it ever began, right? Problem is that, I think the media and other influential organizations need to maybe take a moment and do their history and fact check. Tony Romo, half Latino, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, let's go back and look at our players and look at their diversity. You'd be very fascinated at what you're going to find. But yeah, I think it's very important for us to really look at the messages that we send out, because we influence communities. I mean, that's all what teams are about, right? Is making sure that we're including community and education, and making sure that we're all together and winning in victory and in teams.
That, is so true. Like being in it together and supporting one another. And I agree. I do feel like, especially with women, we're helping one another more, but then we're also have organizations and like things that you're doing right now that are reaching out and helping others. So like, why did you decide to kind of leave TV where you were very successful, to then go to the Greater Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce? Like, what made that shift for you?
Well, so, it was just a matter of timing. I think, quite frankly, when I started at Telemundo, I was at Telemundo for 20 years. And the main mission really was to help small business grow. I mean, you're going to talk to the businesses in the community. You're teaching them to advertise, and they're advertising to grow their bottom line and to grow their business, right? And to get known. And so really it was a strategic plan to help them grow and become successful in the community. And our Chamber of Commerce does exactly that. The reason I switched over was it was just timing. It was one of those moments where I thought, okay, I've done my impact here, and I'd like to go a little bit more micro. We literally take small businesses and we sit with them in a micro sense. And we really, especially now, ladies, especially now, we teach them, about financial literacy, about marketing, about digital, about all different kinds of things that can help them survive and that can help them become, big, bad players in this incredible economy. And so it was just the right time to do so. But it's very similar business. And, we take great pride in making sure that we safeguard our businesses in this community.
And so to help grow these communities, to help unite us, like we know this messaging, we're all here on the same page, work together, get to your goals together. There is a divide though in our nation right now. What is the importance of voting to you? How are you getting that message out to the Latina or the Hispanic community in general?
It's a very difficult time, Stephanie, and people are very fearful, especially in the Hispanic community, about making themselves public. So we just continue to use the media and our partners to communicate the message that it's okay to vote. There are 32 million eligible Latino voters, 32 million. And so we can sway anything we want if we use our power, the power of our voice. But, right now it's not even about that. It's about educating them, teaching them, talking to them, and letting them know that there will be nothing wrong with them, putting their voice to vote and dissuading their fear. But we're very powerful, and we will continue to be very powerful. Might I let you know that right before the pandemic, Latinos were opening businesses faster than any other group, including white males. So the economic power that we have, the power to vote, the power to change, the power to do anything, it lies within us. It's just we have to get their confidence up. And that's what we try to do through all of our organizations, our partners, our messaging, everything outbound.
Yeah, and that is truly a message for everyone, like every single person listening right now. Like we really do have the power in so many different ways, especially to vote. But then to your point, just there are so many new businesses coming out here, opening up now because people understand their power, but they may not necessarily know where to go to get the help to be successful in business. So where can people find you? Where can people get more information? Where can people get more assistance to just make sure that they stand in their voice and that they are successful with their business ventures?
Well, and I appreciate that. First of all, you can always visit our website, which is gwhcc.org. Certainly, there's all the information to communicate with us, phone number, email, and whatnot. We are a very passionate group, but I will tell you that the messaging goes to this. It is your group that is a very good example of reaching out to us and asking these questions. And so, I would encourage and invite other organizations to please take us into consideration. And by us, I don't mean Hispanics. I mean, just all diverse groups. The internal communication, the way that we hire, the way that we write our messages, the way that we communicate intentionally to the diversity of all our communities. That's important. And so moving forward, let's make sure that we let ourselves, the larger organizations, the banks, the bigger corporations, the sports teams, to please take everyone into consideration, because let's not let us go through this kind of thing again. I mean, please. And that's the only way that we can do it, is to communicate to those diverse communities, those understated communities, the underrepresented communities, and make it intentional about talking to them so that we can get through this together and that we're not lost or separated moving forward.
Love it. Get through it together. Love, love, love.
That's right. Team.
Yeah.
All about the team.
And now we are forever a team, the four of us. We need to make sure that we all get together.
I love it. I love it. And by the way, women rule.
Yes. Nicole, I hope to have all of us at a game next season and have you there cheering on the Washington football team. It's been a pleasure to have you here in the WOW. You are definitely a WOW woman.
Thank you so much. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, ladies. Let's do some salsa.
Yes. Absolutely. One of my favorite games of the year.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's been such a privilege and honor.
A new decade demands a new kind of wine. As consumers continue to embrace healthier lifestyles with beverages that taste great and keep in line with their dietary preferences, and wine is no exception. Fresh Vine Wine thoughtfully crafts great tasting premium wines that are low calorie, low carb, low sugar, keto, vegan friendly, and gluten free. Fresh Vine Wines pairs perfectly with your active lifestyle without sacrificing on taste. Available in select stores in DC and Maryland.
This fall, if you're looking for adventure, find it in a new Honda, like the turbocharged Accord, the turbocharged all-wheel drive CRV, and the all-wheel drive HRV with great features like second row magic seats. It's time to explore and say hello to the open road. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda model. When it comes to the best value, Honda leaves the others in the dust. See your local Honda dealer and start your adventure today.
We are heading into Wow Overtime, brought to you by Fresh Vine Wine. Nicole Quiroga just touched on this, and I think it's really important. She just spoke about the importance of being intentional. And I want to give game ball, I want to give high fives, I really want to give hugs, but we can't do that right now, to Coach Ron Rivera for just being very intentional about what he's doing here, about his leadership style, about setting the tone, about setting examples, about being a role model. It was very clear by everyone that he was struggling throughout that game to be there to coach it and to be strong. Like, he's going through a very traumatic thing, and we're all witnessing it. And so I just think it's really important that we acknowledge him and let him know that we're here and we're in his corner, and that he is showing strength and bravery for all of us. So I think it's important that we touch on just how significant that game was and seeing him out there.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and for him and then for everyone that's just battling cancer, right? Cancer is literally the second most common illness in the United States, right behind heart disease. So this literally touches someone that breast cancer alone is 1 in 8 women will develop breast cancer. So cancer it's hard. And you could tell he had to sit down a couple of times during the game. But, before the game, I'm sure you all saw the video, because it oh my gosh, just touched my heart with Coach's Corner and having, like over 400 people, kind of cutouts of them, and just him being able to walk out before the game and seeing that we are literally in his corner, like literally in his corner. And Nicole, one of her first questions that she had for us is, how's Coach Rivera doing? And so it just shows that he really is touching every single person within this community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to also just talk about Stephanie Rivera. We interviewed her. Her outlook on this is, we're going to beat it. We're going to be positive. And so he's got such a strong corner with his wife and his family. And I think that, the message of who you surround yourself with and the mentality you have in order to beat cancer is so important. So I want to, again, just commend her for being inspirational to everyone, her husband and her family.
Yeah. And I already was a big fan of him, just for who he is and for his coaching philosophy and style. But listening to the press conferences from this week and hearing his outlook on the treatment and everything that he's going through, he brought up how I think a reporter asked him where he gets his courage from or his strength. And he brought up seeing the children going through what he's going through in the hospitals and how positive they are and how they're handling it. He brought up that he's a fan of Baby Shark now because he heard the nurses singing that song to a survivor, to a child survivor. And it's just, football is family. And it really showed that listening to him, that we're all in this together, and just how this just humanized him. And it just makes me more of a fan of him for everything that he is going through and that he is also doing for this franchise. So Coach Ron Rivera, we are with you. We're all here in your corner, not just for that game, but all the way throughout the season. So we wish you and your family the absolute best moving forward. So moving on into this week's game, it is the Hispanic Heritage game. One of my favorite games of the year. We get to dance to, as a cheerleader, we perform to obviously his Latin songs, and it's one of our spiciest games of the year. So very excited to see the Washington football team take on the Rams. I'm going to shoot it over to you, Stephanie. Any events that our WOW listeners should be aware of?
Yes, definitely. So with Crucial Catch Breast Cancer Awareness this month of October, we are having a Share Your Story sweepstakes. So to commemorate 22 years that Mrs. Snyder started our Think Pink campaign, we are going to award 22 winners that share their stories of themselves, their battle, or a loved one. So you can find that information on our Washington football website under WOW. And the other thing that we're doing, October 24th, it's a virtual family event. So how we talked about Rivera and the coach's corner and having people there to support you as you go through something traumatic. We're working as a family. It can be your kids, it could be maybe your fellow employees as your team, but it's going to be family fun activities, workout together October 24th, and that's going to be a great event as well. So those are our two events happening coming up in October.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us here. Make sure you check out Wow Washington on all social media channels to stay up to date with other events and also to find out how to figure out who our future guests are, also how you can ask a player a question. We have lots of great things on the social media channels, so make sure you are following. Thanks to our amazing partner, Fresh Fine Wine. Until next time, see you guys.
COVID changed everything. More demands on students, parents, educators. But there was a $4 billion education shortfall in Maryland even before COVID. We have a lot to do for our kids. Close the digital divide, provide opportunities to pursue vocational and technical education, and hire more qualified teachers. Question 2 will put millions into Maryland schools using revenue from sports betting. I know it won't solve every problem, but a yes vote will help our Maryland schools.
For more than 100 years, Chesapeake Employers Insurance has been helping Maryland businesses keep their workers safe. With competitive pricing and an AM Best A- financial strength rating, it's no surprise that Chesapeake Employers is Maryland's largest writer of workers' comp insurance.
At the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your agent or visit CEIWC.com.
Locally owned Novec is energizing the community in powerful ways. From sponsoring meals for first responders and medical professionals to donating generously to area food banks, Novec knows we're in this together. Novec and customers are funding crisis energy assistance by having their bills rounded up each month. Novec and employees are supporting local charities through Novec Helps. That's the power of working together. That's Novec.
And now, time for another Honda highlight. Jed was in mid-season form when his car went into an early retirement. Looking to upgrade his roster to all-wheel drive, Jed went down to his local Honda dealer. Jed scouted the CR-V, Pilot, Passport, and more. In the end, Jed saved his season by picking up a new versatile HR-V with collapsible magic seats. Savvy stuff, Jed. Very savvy stuff.
Save your season with a great deal on an all-wheel drive Honda. See your local Honda dealer today.
COVID changed everything. More demands on students, parents, educators. But there was a $4 billion education shortfall in Maryland even before COVID. We have a lot to do for our kids. Close the digital divide, provide opportunities to pursue vocational and technical education, and hire more qualified teachers. Question 2 will put millions into Maryland schools using revenue from sports betting. I know it won't solve every problem, but a yes vote will help our Maryland schools.